what could it do in your life if you started to value speed over getting a thing right? Okay, so have you ever done this before? You had an idea to do a thing for a business, and you maybe even started to do it. You maybe even started getting into some of the actions that would be necessary to accomplish this thing. And then you realize as you're getting into it, or as you start to think about it, this might take a little bit longer, to explode than I would like. I would like it if next week, after I started doing this, that I would start to see all the payoffs. And so you kind of ease up on your activities, your productivity in that thing, and then before you know it, it's a bygone thing of the past. I was just having a conversation with somebody 2 days ago, and he was talking. We have talked actually at length about this venture that he wants to do, and I had asked him, how's that going? How are you progressing? And he had a great deal of momentum at first, which he was excited about, and then he had started just kind of not doing some of the things. And when we finally got to the bottom of why, ultimately he didn't really believe. He had started to really doubt whether or not it would work, and he started to become concerned about how long it was going to take to really see the full payoff. And so then our conversation went, in a different direction, and I was really just encouraging him. And we went over, look, have other people done this? Yes. So the reality is, if you keep on doing it and you be consistent, you can't help but see and have those results and experience them, which brought up another conversation. Is like, well, you can't just be a beginner forever and think that you're going to get pro results. True, that is a true statement. I'm gonna circle back to that in just a moment. I was on a business call today with a mentor of mine, and he was talking, and he's been at this. He might be 15 or 20 years older than me, and he's been at business for much longer than me. And he was saying how often he sees this, which I see it too, but for someone who's coached tens of thousands of people, he was saying that what he sees more than anything is he sees people not starting. They just won't start. Okay, so again, I'm going to circle back to the other question of, well, we can't just stay in beginner mode forever. Again, yes, but hold that thought. I want to read to you, listen, out of the Bible, Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10. And if there's a success principle anywhere in the world that proves to be true, it's going to be found in the Bible. All right. So it says in Zechariah 4:10, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." And I just want to encourage you, don't despise the small beginnings of a thing, because if you have an idea that's just burning in you and you want to see that come to fruition, you've just got to get started. That's a lot of what my videos about lately have just been about, getting started. And the reason I've been focusing on that so much is because I know what it took for me to just get started and to just get out from under the oppressive, wet blanket of perfectionism. Okay, so going back to, yes, we don't want to stay in beginner mode forever. There comes a point where you need to begin to gain mastery over a craft, and you're going to get better. And naturally, the conversation I was having with this gentleman a couple days ago that I was telling you about, I was explaining to him, which is something I've said on my videos too, which was something that was taught to me by mentors. And you can just see this in athletics, in academia, in entrepreneurship. When you first start, you are not good at the thing you're doing. You're just not. That's why they don't give medical students, they don't get to practice at the same level as full-on doctors. There comes a point where, yes, you're gonna go into the next phase of your venture, where you're going to say, okay, you know what? I've really got this taking action muscle strong. I've got some really solid momentum under my belt, and I am feeling good. I'm feeling confident. I'm just pleased with the fact that I keep showing up and I'm being consistent. Then you're going to start to analyze data. You're going to start to look at, okay, is what I'm doing working? Well, how would I even know? What are the parameters? Maybe you need to seek some help out in that regard or do some research there. But yes, you're going to want to look at data. If you're doing, I talked about doing a diet the other day as an example. Just getting started is fantastic. And then just being consistent. Just being consistent and doing the consistent actions that you set forth for yourself. There's so much gold there for so many reasons. Whether you lose a pound or not, if your goal is weight loss. But then let's say you're a month in, 2 months in, or whatever, you're seeing no change happening in your body. You're going to want to start analyzing data. And maybe you're going to need some assistance to know, to really be able to get to the bottom of, okay, so I'm doing this thing. Now I want to get better at it. And you're going to seek out help in that regard. Maybe you're going to seek out a person to help you. Maybe you're going to just search for information. But yes, you're going to want to get to a point where you examine data. But again, most of my videos at this point have just been about getting started, because that, for me, was a pain point for so long. So I just want to encourage you today, do not despise, I'm just looking back at my verse here, do not despise these small beginnings. They are exciting. And so I just bless you in whatever the Lord has put before you, to whatever He's called you into. And thank you for being a part of my journey with me. If you are ready to just start doing that thing that God has called you to do, and you're ready to do it, and you're committed, no matter how long it takes you, no matter how long it's going to take to get it going and start to see that success that you are looking for, then put in the comments, small beginnings. Just type that in the comments. And listen, I'm here to cheer you on and encourage you and inspire you. Thanks again for being here, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye for now.